Hello everyone. We are now live on the Facebook. This will also go on the YouTube, also on the Instagram. This is the first episode of Meet Them Mondays for the year. I'm here with Julia and Crystal of Fit Miami Festival and Habit Active. You gotta make sure to go to joeradio.org if you want to hear the audio version or just watch us through here. I hope you enjoy the show. We're gonna be talking about fitness, wellness, building brands, staying in that lifestyle and that healthy lifestyle. I hope you all enjoy, and we'll see you on the flip side.
This world we live in, that we happen to find ourselves alive during, is full of activity. There's things going on all the time. Now we have greater access to seeing them happen in front of us. It gets confusing and sometimes painful. But in the end, love sets it all free. Less love. It's the only answer. From the soul, y'all.
World, welcome to Meet Them Mondays, a show about community, culture, and lifestyle in Miami. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla, and tonight I'm in the studio with Fit Miami Festival Executive Director Julia Lopez. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
And Active Apparel Brand founder, creator, designer, and a dear friend, Crystal Ram. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
Before we begin tonight's show, I'd like to thank everyone for their love and their support. Meet Them Mondays actually turns 3 this month. And it's been a challenging but rewarding journey. Yeah, you could whoop whoop. You could whoop whoop. I'll announce details for our anniversary celebration eventually. But right now, my focus is to just start giving you content and continuing to share stories. This is our first episode of the year for 2020. So my heart is literally jumping out of my chest of how happy I am to be here tonight. Before we begin, I also want to take a second to bring attention to a few events that are happening in our community. The Florida New Majority is hosting their Ready to Rise event. It's a training happening on Friday, January 25th. It's a one-day program that covers everything from how to create a compelling speech, fundraising, connecting with voters in the field, and basically they want to empower people who are thinking about going into politics. And they just want to, to have the skills and the tools to make a difference in 2020. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, go ahead and apply. The link is, you should visit americaleaders.sm/apply.io. And of course, I'll make sure to link this on roomforits.com under tonight's show notes. There's also another thing that I wanted to bring your attention. It's called the Ujima Leadership Collective. And it's a fellowship by Black Girls Matter. It's their Miami coalition. And basically, they're looking for passionate and motivated Black girls and gender non-conforming teen youth. The ages are 13 to 16. And it's basically another community event for teens who want to spark change in their community. And basically, it's kind of like a stipend or a fellowship. Like I said, it pays up to $750. And there's going to be social justice education, mentorship, leadership development, and so many other skills. And also just being part of a collective of like-minded people. So if you are a young woman of color and you want to go ahead and apply for this, visit the tinyurl.com/Ujima Leaders 2020. The deadline is this Friday, the 17th at midnight. So wanted to put those 2 events on your radar. And yeah, super excited to start tonight's show. So I figured it would be super ideal to start off with health and fitness because, as I was telling you both earlier, Julia and Chris, everybody's on that fitness tip at the beginning of the year. We see it more that people start jumping on like that healthy bandwagon. And sadly, sometimes they just fall off of it as like the weeks and the months and life goes by. But we're still very motivated at the beginning of the year. So a lot of people are like starting the gym. I'm noticing my gym gets super packed. And I figured, you know what, let me bring 2 women who have their own personal journeys with fitness and health and kind of like share your stories. So, Julia, we'll start with you. you are the founder, the executive director of Fit Miami Fest, which is a health and wellness event, and it's happening in Mount Wynwood this month on the 25th and the 26th.
Correct.
So to start off, can you just give us the details first? Like, what can people expect? What is Fit Miami Fest?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the introduction and for having me here. I'm super excited and honored.
Thank you.
So first things are Fit Miami Festival is partnered with Swarm Inc., which is one of the biggest event production companies in South Florida. And this has all been possible because of Tony Albello, my partner, and the entire team. I mean, when I tell you, I think their slogan is "We Unite, We Excite," and that's exactly what we're doing at Fit Miami. And the entire team there's a department for everything: sales, the accounting, the marketing. I mean, I'm telling you, it took so many people to really bring this to life, and for each and every person at Swarm, I'm so grateful and thankful for their hard work and for helping me get to where it's at today.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so going back to your question, how did it start?
And what can people expect when they attend for the weekend on the 25th and the 26th? Like, what if I'm going, and for the listeners out there who are curious, like, why would I want to go? Like,
right, So what they're going to expect, they're going to expect about 60 very curated vendors within the health industry. There will be something for everyone, every age group, and every level of fitness experience. So if you're just starting off in the fitness industry and you're lost and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go to the gym, I don't know what I want to do, maybe I don't want to go to the gym. Well, guess what? The health industry and the fitness industry in Miami has grown so much. Now there's something for everyone to do, whether you like dancing or just yoga, meditation. There's a combination of fitness, I would say, workouts that can meet your interests and can really make you happy, instead of it being dreadful and you being like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, or what works for your friends will work for you here at Fit Miami. You could find that, and you can connect with so many like-minded people.
So are people walking in to see vendors or different booths set up of different gyms? I know there's also gonna be food. There's gonna be I even saw Tony from Beat the Gym is one of the people
Tony
there.
Thomas.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Love taking his classes, by the way.
Right.
Super
So good.
Yeah.
So there's so much happening at Fit Miami. One of them vendors, but for the most part, I was actually telling Chris that it's the Fit Miami is about a total health experience, about interacting with your vendors and also with talent. So Fit Miami's encompasses the 4 pillars of health: fitness, nutrition, beauty, and wellness. And we transformed those pillars into major activations so that you could have that interactive experience. So for fitness, we have over, I believe, 14 fitness master classes with local fitness instructors. From Tony Thomas, we have Jacqueline Kaysen from Anatomy. We have Manning Sumner, the owner of Legacy Fit.
And beauty, so each category has something.
Right, there's beauty workshops, makeup tutorials. We have meditation and wellness workshops in the Gratitude Tent. And then we have cooking demos from celebrity chefs and really amazing nutritionists as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so as an attendee, you get to learn about different vendors and brands in the vendor area. And then you can, with your ticket, you could take all the unlimited free classes.
Wow.
So all you have to do is sign up so that we could have a head count and know how many people to expect in the activation. And bring your yoga tent, bring your reusable bottle for water. Yeah, we hope to have a water station. That's what we're working on right now. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that you're pairing it with a lot of locals. Because it highlights all these local brands, which now brings me to Crystal. Crystal, tell us about Habit Active, and I'm a personal fan. Tell us what it is and and what the idea of Habit Active is really about. Because even the name in itself is like
Right.
making activity a habit, pretty much, a
Right.
lifestyle.
Right. I think when I came up with the name, it was like sometime in 2013, and it was definitely, I had just moved to the beach, and you know the beach culture is so different, and so wellness, fitness, like you have no you're not living on the beach and not eating at Whole Foods, going to CrossFit, going on a beach run. Like it's a really big part of the culture, and I think that was my first sort of experience. And it also happened when like the whole wellness culture was starting to like burgeon, and you saw like athleisure and activewear everywhere. So at that point in time, I was just designing, you know, ready to wear clothes, and I came on the beach and started living that lifestyle. You know, all my friends were, I was bartending at the time, so everyone was working out when they weren't bartending, and it kind of felt like a natural progression to start doing activewear, because I noticed in the gym, you know, Miami Beach and Miami culture is very loud and in your face, but when you go to the gym, everyone's wearing black and blue and gray. And even like 6-7 years ago, even more so.
Yeah.
Like now, of course, with activewear, what it is, you can see women in a lot of like fun, funky colors. But back then,
And I still feel like it's very new age, because even
Yeah.
there's just like certain brands that like look better on you,
right.
but they're super crazy, ridiculously.
Yeah, it's extra. It's not even like, I mean, aesthetically, right? It's not well done, I don't think. And so I thought, let me start this activewear, you know, line and see what happens. And you know, now that I kind of stand back and look at it, it's kind of insane to think that I would want to start an activewear line, because it's such a big undertaking,
Yes.
and you have to be so loud to be heard in that space, and so different. So I mean, I think it's just like beginners, like novice thinking, oh, I could do that, figure that out. And I, you know, that was 7 years ago, and here I am,
Yes.
7 years later, still evolving it, still figuring it out, still pushing it. I think more recently in December, I quit my day job, because I was, you know, working in the industry, bartending, stopped that, got a day job, because it'd be like that sometimes, and just, that's, you know, the tough part about entrepreneurship, I think, learning to manage finances, and they don't teach you that, obviously, right? So I learned that the hard way, what not to do, got a day job, and decided, you know what, I was done. Like, I was ready to just work my 9 to 5 in the apparel industry, get my check, and it was, I had decided, like, Habit was a relationship that was just toxic, and I was just like, I'm over, you're not serving me anymore. And so I walked away, and I mean, I lost a piece of myself in it, because I mean, at the core, I'm many things, but one of those things is entrepreneur, because I love the figuring out phase, the building, the like, how do I crack this code phase, you know? And also I love wellness, and for me, wellness has been a lifesaver. It's changed my life. Like, where I come from, it's not something that's practiced. My parents weren't active. It wasn't something we went and did as a family. You know, mindfulness or talking about your emotions or all those different things. It's not,
or finding an outlet for those emotions,
right?
A healthy outlet.
Yeah,
too.
and so, you know, growing up with sort of severe depression and anxiety, and not even recognizing it, being able to acknowledge it until my 20s, and then intuitively I was led to fitness. You know, it's like your mind was running so fast, and the only thing you could do was go for a run. And then I started realizing, like, I think about 3 years ago, I started eating different, like really mindfully. Like, if something, I can't read an ingredient, I don't eat packaged foods. Like, I started like cooking all my own food, and then I started to feel even better. And it was like I was unlocking like codes in a pyramid, and I was like, oh my, this is it. Like, I don't have to feel sad, depressed, anxious. Like, I don't, like, those things aren't the only way I can exist in this world. You know, if I can create, like, and now where I'm at, it's like I believe that you create the physical struggle through movement, and it releases the mental struggle.
I was actually telling Julia about that, because I feel like you kind of figured out like a little life hack. Not little, it's a big life hack, and you're applying it to your daily life. So can you tell me how that life hacking, and it's basically the activity that you're doing, which is running or exercising, or now how you're doing your daily 5K. That momentum and that fuel that you were telling me, you put it back into your brand.
So about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I was at a place where I was still part-time at my day job. I was on my second day job. I was part-time, and I wasn't making money, like enough money to subsist. and I was just like kind of fed up, and I was at a place where like there was so much I couldn't control, you know, where I couldn't do, and I was like, what's one thing I can do? And I was like, man, I can work out, like I can get up and move. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna dedicate. I really don't know where this idea came from. It just like kind of revealed itself.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna dedicate the next like 8 weeks to this mission to make more money. And there was a lot of like drive, like passion, because sometimes you have to be tough on yourself. Like I understand self-love, and I love myself like none other, but I'm also like stern on myself too. I'm also like, all right, tighten that shit up. Let's enough. It's time to move forward and stop crying.
Right.
You know, so I was at that point, and I wrote it down on the you know, on a little index card, and I put, you know, like at financial freedom, I'm working out, I'm doing these fasts, I'm doing all these things. And I do come from a spiritual background, you know, a more religious background, I'm more spiritual. So the concept of fasting, the concept of sacrificing something to get something, and using your body as the sacrifice is something that's, I kind of grew up understanding, and now I translate it in a different way with wellness.
Yeah.
And so lo and behold, like I did this crazy like 8-week workout, you know, and like 2 months later, I doubled my income, like at my job. And it was like, I was sitting there and I was like, holy shit, that really worked.
Yeah.
Like what? Like doubled? Like wait, not even like just doubled? I was like,
and you felt like that correlated, like that energy that you were creating, that physical.
I think because, you know, I believe that like we are taught to think, I mean, maybe from the community I come from or just my programming, is that like change is dependent on so many other variables outside of your control. You have to hope this person says yes, you have to hope he's in a good mood, you have to hope she shows up. But like with fitness, there's nobody else that you can blame
but you.
You have to take full responsibility if you're going to embark on that journey. And so like that accountability, that showing up every day no matter if you don't feel like it, like I use all those tools
to translate them back to building your brand,
because it's all mental training. You know, the person that can run a 5K in under or under a certain amount of time, and the person
can put in mad hours and stuff for your own
and running has taught me the reality is like when I'm on my run and I check my body, like I do my engine checks, I'm like, I don't feel pain, like I'm gonna give up. It's my mind that's like freaked out by it. My mind is like, oh, I don't know if I can do this extra half. I've never ran 7 miles before, like, and then I catch it and I'm like, this is just a mental thing.
Yeah, and I see like Julia nodding her head like yes, because Julia also comes from like a crazy athletic background, like even from your childhood. Right. And we were talking about that yesterday before the show, and we were talking about how you got into sports and volleyball was like your main sport, even when you were such a child. And we talked about like the struggles of that, or even when you decided to transition from that. So can you tell us more about your relationship, Julia, with like being an athlete and working out?
Yeah, absolutely. I started when I was 3 years old. My parents had me in almost 5 sports at a time. So I was juggling whether it was school, swimming, basketball, soccer, flag football, and track.
Wow, that's a complete opposite spectrum.
I know, yeah.
Right. So I was telling her that I think my parents actually had children just to breed.
Wow.
They're like, let's see what she could do and him. And so for the most part, I was just in love and had this crazy passion for sports. And right from the beginning, it was very transparent to the family, to friends, every sport I played. I mean, I just loved it so much. So that really just started my career in volleyball at 7 years old. And I accepted a scholarship to play actually here in South Florida. And that's what brought me here today. Yeah, just my passion.
You had said something about how, and I'm bringing this up because again, like Crystal and I were just saying how our journeys with fitness didn't come the same way they came for you. Like even for me, on a personal note, like I had to find fitness through getting myself out of being sick.
Right.
Like literally, I had gone to the doctor, had been diagnosed, and I was put on this really ridiculous medication that, to be like completely transparent, I wasn't able to control my bowel movements, like, at all. And I'm
Wow.
talking about, like, 21. I thought I had Crohn's disease. That's how bad it was.
Oh wow.
And the last straw for me was I had bought tickets. I'll never forget it. I bought tickets to take my mom to see the Addams Family because that's her favorite. And I was taking her to see the play, because she loved the movie. And I remember we were late for the show because I was in the bathroom
Oh man.
and I could not control my body. Like, I could not control it. And I remember, like, we were at her house and I was, like, apologizing through the door, like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt, like, really weak. I couldn't control it. We finally made it, but we missed the first act. But I remember, like, again, being completely real, I'm sitting on the toilet and I was, like, praying. And I was like, you know what, God? Like, if this is a life that I'm going to have to live because I'm sick and I'm going to have to be on this medication and I'm this young and I have no control over what's happening to me, like, I don't want this life, honestly and truly. And maybe that says a lot about myself, but that's how desperate I was at the time.
Of course.
And I remember the next day I woke up, I had, like, an awakening, and I was like, you know what, like, no, like, I declare that my body is perfect. I declare that I am healthy,
Right.
and I'm no longer going to take this medication. And I started Googling a bunch of things and new, like, even healthy things that like Ayurvedic things and stuff like that. Looking up teas, looking up a bunch of different things.
Out of curiosity, what was it that you were doing wrong? What was your lifestyle then?
To be quite honest, I don't know exactly what I was doing wrong in my lifestyle. I was still plant-based. I was vegetarian, not vegan like I am now. I didn't have any activity, or like I wasn't active. And what I was diagnosed, actually I don't want to say what it was because I no longer associate with that, and I'm no longer unhealthy. But I decided to take myself off the medication. I was like, you know what, I need to be 100% plant-based and I need to start exercising. And based off of that, someone took me to a CrossFit gym and I fell in love with the sport because it's super social. I'm super social, and that was already like maybe 7 years ago. And like I was telling Julia, like 3 months later I went to my checkup because I would have to go to these checkups like every 3 months, every month depending. And the doctor couldn't explain why I no longer was sick anymore. Like, I had completely reversed whatever it is that I had.
Amazing.
And she was like, I don't know what you did, but whatever you did, continue to do it. And I continued to do it. And so that's how I found my fitness journey. But the difference for you, Julia, was that you grew up into it. Like, this was something that was given to you. I had to find this through being sick. Crystal, you also had to find it as a meditative way too, to get yourself through things. But one of the things, Julia, that you told me that was super important, that I wanted to kind of dig deeper, was that you got into it as a child. And I feel like we see a lot of like child obesity rates, like we see a lot of parents struggling with how to keep their kids healthy. What's the right way and what's the wrong way from like what you experience? Like, how, if you had any advice to parents out there who are putting their kids into sports and starting that healthy lifestyle, like, how does that work?
That's great. So from my experience as a daughter, and then I see my sister right now with her 2 children, it's just about figuring out what works best for your family, right? I think that children definitely need to participate in some type of sport or something that's active. It helps with your social skills. It helps with so much part of your upbringing. And I think, you know, when you say child obesity, I just think that's just poor eating. You know, I think that even as a child, you guys talk about, you know, sicknesses that you may have, depression, anxiety. I have massive anxiety, and that comes from my dad's side, right? So he's a smoker, and he's been smoking since he was 13 years old, and, you know, he has these tendencies to just be very, like, you know, jittery, and have had that as a child. And so I think that by my mom and my parents putting me in so many sports, it helped with that. At some point, my mom was like, Mike, my dad, Julia is so crazy. Every time we go everywhere, I can't find her. Like, she's running somewhere, she's hiding, she's playing, and there's no, not a problem with her being a child, but she has so much energy to the point where I need to put her on a leash, or I don't know what I'm going to do with her at this point. Like, I actually fear for her life. What do I do? My dad's like, okay, give her to me and I'll do my best I can, because, you know, clearly my mom was so stressed with my, like, intense energy. But so she put me in as many sports as possible, and I think that was a cure. I think that really did help. But going back to anxiety, I mean, I think that I'm the type of person that I have to really wear out my mind physically. I mean, my body physically, my mind mentally, because if not, like, I just have this energy and this anxiousness, you know, which goes to, you know, the event, like, being healthy. It's not just about fitness. People always are so confused about that. It's like, no, you can work out twice a day. You could be working out for 2 hours, 5 hours, but if you're not taking care of your diet, if you're not watching what you eat, and if you're not taking care of your mental health and your physical health, which is beauty, part of one of the pillars at Fit Miami, then, you know, you're really not going to be healthy. There's something that's missing.
Yeah.
So you want to include all those 4 pillars when you think about being healthy. And for children and parents, you know, find that balance. Get them active. Get them involved in something that they're excited to do, they're passionate about. There's so many sports, you know, golf, soccer, basketball, swimming. You know, what works for one, you don't have to force it, because at that point it makes people uncomfortable, no?
Well, I mean, I feel like for me, the experience is like a chubbier, sort of shy, recluse girl. And I have, you know, I have a few friends with daughters, and they kind of remind me of myself at their age.
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to little girls like that too,
Yeah.
you know, because
course.
I grew up with 2 very slender, beautiful best friends, and we've been best friends since we were like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough for me because one of them they were both very slender, and one was extremely athletic, and that didn't make it easier for me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's also, when encouraging young girls to be more active, it's like at that age, I don't think the conversation about like body size
Yes.
needs to necessarily, like, you
Right.
need to just instill a love of movement, the relaxation, the social component. But when you start to make it about like, so you can be skinnier,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
then
Fuck
it just
that.
becomes destructive.
Absolutely.
And like,
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's like part of my reason, you know, maybe why I didn't really explore athleticism until like my 20s, like late 20s,
Yup.
you know. So it's definitely
Speak on that.
yeah, so it's definitely something that I feel like with young girls, they're like little gentle flowers, and
Yes.
and they want to be loved.
And little boys too. bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
all of them,
Boys,
all
however
of-
they
yeah,
identify
yeah,
with
yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's like the one, and I feel like I had a conversation with my aunt
Yeah.
recently. Did I tell you about this?
No.
So it was like me addressing some trauma that she had, you know, been a part of when I was younger, and kind of just letting her know that, hey, you hurt my feelings when you did those things when I was younger. And it occurred to me too that she's never been overweight. So to her, she didn't realize that her
Yes.
telling me those things or saying that in front of other people
Oh,
was
damaging.
traumatic to me.
Mhm.
And then I was like, man, there might be so much like lack of education on parents' part who maybe have a child who's struggling with weight issues
Yeah.
because they've never struggled with it themselves, so they don't know how to like explain to them or talk to them in a more empathetic way,
Mindful, yes.
you know. And so and then it just like creates more of a cyclical damage. And so I was just like, wow, there really needs to be just more education on how to speak to younger people, whether it's boys or
Well,
girls.
let me tell you the craziest thing, and I'm so glad that we're talking about this. And I'm sure this happens in a lot of like, it happens in every community, but I feel like as a Latina,
Mm-hmm.
let me even speak a little bit further as a Colombian Latina, because even if you're Colombian, you're gonna identify exactly with what I'm saying, and then every other subcategory of Latino. When you're Colombian Latina, like, your mom is pushing you out and you're already falling into a waist trainer type of thing. Like,
Right.
I'm not even trying to
I believe
exaggerate.
that. I believe
Like,
that.
I have had at least 10 fajas, and I wear
Wow.
a faja, especially now with my new 9 to 5. I wear a faja every day.
Oh man.
The other day I was standing in front of the mirror naked and I was looking at my body. I do this every morning.
Right.
Because I sit, so it helps me a lot with my posture.
Right.
and I was noticing that the faja is like burning my skin. So it was making like my armpits and my private areas darker. And again, TMI. I don't know what is going on.
It's
We
alright.
have TMI all over this show.
It's extreme vulnerability. It's
Straight
2020.
up, straight up.
It.
And I was like, wait a minute, my skin doesn't look like this. Like, this faja is actually burning my skin. And lo and behold, I get my period, aka today, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear the faja because it's uncomfortable. I'm super bloated. I'm not feeling it. And I started to think, but what I was getting to with this is that, in conversations that I've had with my wife at home, we notice that the first thing we do, and I try to correct it, but the first thing we do when we see pictures of our cousins or pictures of our sisters or pictures of ourselves, oh, we were so chubby back then, or we were skinny back then. The first thing that your mom tells you, that your aunts tell you, that your primas tell you when they see you is like, ay, que flaca, or mami, esa gordita.
Right.
And you are like, cool, like, I didn't ask you about this, you know what I'm saying? Like, that happens a lot, and it happens all the time. And I remember having conversations with her where I was like, and particularly too, because my wife is Dominican, in Dominican culture as well. I mean, it's a Latina thing, but in Dominican culture as well, a lot of people have surgeries, a lot of people wear their fajas, a lot of people care a lot about this the surgery. And no shade to surgery. Listen, I'm the first one to be like, if surgery makes you happy, please do it.
Yeah, of course.
But it becomes unhealthy when the conversation is, you're fat, or oh, you're skinny, or like it's a compliment to hear like, girl, you look so good.
Yeah.
Like, and stuff like that.
Right.
As opposed to like, what if I look great but I'm super unhealthy,
Right.
and I'm skinny because I'm sick and not
Right.
because I'm well.
Yeah.
And so it becomes this conversation, and I remember telling her like, in trying to unlearn and trying to process traumas and trying to be a better version of myself and heal myself before I become a mother, this is one of the things that I really, really want to check myself on. I don't want to validate my children, my future children, on saying things of their weight,
Right.
on saying things of how beautiful they look.
Yeah.
And this is a struggle every day. You know how many beautiful girls are on Instagram?
Yeah.
Friends of mine, beautiful girls, beautiful glutes, beautiful bodies that don't have to struggle with the same things that I feel struggle with, and they still struggle.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, there's a bigger conversation to be had here, and it's like, I want, at least for myself, beginning with myself, the moment I see myself do it, I check myself and I'm like, you know what? Nah, that's not the thing to do. That's
For
not the
real.
thing to say. To admire someone and think they're beautiful and check them and criticize them or whatever the case is on their weight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, we do that all the time.
100%. And I think most of it is you have to be confident in your skin. If you're doing the right things, if you're taking care of yourself, that's one thing. But if you're not, and you have someone who loves you, who truly loves you and wants the best for you and wants to see the best version of yourself, i.e. my sister, right? If she's going through some changes in her body, she's a single mother of two, single parent, and, if I see her and she's gained some weight, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, hey, how can I help you? It's not like you gained some weight or what's going on. Like,
Is
what are you
something
doing?
happening? Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
But the next thing is, how can I help you?
Right.
And is it mental? And that's something that you mentioned. And it's like, how do you communicate that? And that's, for children, going back to that topic, it's just like making sure they can talk to someone, whether it's therapy and also having the parents be able to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And so, children go through so much. They go to school and they hear all these things and come back. So.
And then we're gonna, bash them more and say, no.
I mean, and I think it's too, kind of this genetic encoding, like the shame gets passed down, right? So my aunts, my mom, they went through body shaming.
Of course.
That was passed down from there, and it was like through, right?
Yeah.
And so it's for us to like acknowledge it, number one, recognize it in ourselves, and then accept it, and then we can start working on changing it. And I've had, like talking about dealing with family and how they, like my family will come to me now and be like, well, what should I do to do this? And I always kind of go back to, and I think if I had a child, what I would tell her is the same thing, is wellness is about feeling good.
Yes.
So like, and I'm sorry, but like, it's not about a six-pack. Like, it's just like, I know so many people that work out and eat right for themselves and feel good, and they don't look rock hard or
You talking to one of them?
So I hate this idea that if I don't look this way, then wellness isn't for me, and I give up.
No, and you know, it's funny because one of the things that I got a lot of feedback on social media, people wanted me to ask you both, like, if they're trying to get into the gym now, if they're trying to get into fitness, like, what are some of your best advice, excuse me, and your best tips on getting started? And like, for me, I'll go first because I'm not an expert here, but what helped me, because I took a little break from CrossFit, and some of people's like first introductions to the gym is like just going to a regular gym, like a YouFit or whatever, Planet Fitness. I was going to 24-hour fitness, but what I started doing was, I love YouTube, so I started looking up YouTube videos, and I found this girl, Whitney Simmons. She's my favorite YouTuber of fitness. I haven't looked into more. I found her, I got married to her, and that was that. I loved her videos, and I started following them. And I was like, okay, she would post like what to target today, or how to do like total body workouts, or how to grow your glutes or whatever. And I started doing a different body part every day. Nice. And I would literally watch her YouTube videos, go into the gym, do the exercise, and I was killing it. And I started like that. I would go on Pinterest, look up different exercises. And I came to notice like it was intimidating. I still don't like going to a regular gym at night because it's super... There's so many people. Right. Sometimes they ask you, hey, how many sets do you have left? And you're like, I don't freaking know. What are sets? How many minutes? Oh, I think I have like 7 minutes left. You know? But I realized, like, one, ain't nobody checking for me. Like, and you feel a little bit embarrassed because, you know, sometimes you feel people are staring at you. All these beautiful girls come on, we're in Miami, rocking some bomb Gymshark.
I had a CrossFit membership for like 2 months before I even walked in.
You see what
I was paying $130 and I was like, Crystal, can you?
But just get yourself through the door, bro.
And you realize it's like,
ain't nobody checking for you. Like, don't. And I remember I used to work with this girl. She was a little bit heavier, and she's like, no, I'm embarrassed to be this big and be at the gym. And I'm like, yo, I have mad respect for people who are overweight, who are obese, whatever you want to call it. And I see them busting their ass at the gym, and I'm like, yo, good job, like, keep going, like, and I motivate them because, dude, like, if you're not here to serve some positivity and help people will be so quick if you ask them, hey, am I doing this right? Hey, can you spot me? So what are some of your best tips? What is one of the best things you can give to someone advice-wise that want to just get started? Like, maybe,
for me, it's like, number one, friends. Get a support, and if you don't have friends that work, get some new friends. Find friends that work out. I know you have one girlfriend that goes to run club that you could hit her up and go, hey, can I come with you? Can we start a group chat?
Or hit someone on DM on Instagram. You don't know, if you don't know someone.
If you don't, or go to a free community event and meet somebody. Like, I'm all about, one of my things that I started for the new year was like facing my fears. And one of my fears, as weird as it is, because you know me and I'm very verbose, is going to community fitness events and meeting people. So now I go to one and I'm just like, hey, I'll just talk to, and they'll talk right back. And you have I had like a 45-minute conversation with this girl I met at a yoga event on Friday, and it was amazing. Like, we got it was so in depth, and I said, if I hadn't broken that little like nervous ice and just said, hey, how are you? Like, none of this would be happening. But so definitely like finding friends, because when you can find somebody that holds you accountable, like, it's one thing if you're going to be like, bro, you know what? I don't want to go tomorrow. I have this to do, I have that to do. But when I know my girlfriend's waiting on me and I'm going to look like a loser if I don't show up, I'm like...
I know exactly what you mean, because I had recently made a friend at the gym. And when we were talking, he was like, yo, like, can we help each other stay motivated to come to the gym? Yes. And I had gone back to my CrossFit recently, and I had taken a break like years in between because I had moved and I wasn't close, and I started a new job, it was close, whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, hell yeah, like, I don't know nobody here anymore. And yeah, let's totally keep each other motivated. Like, that's the reason. Like that. And if you start making friends and you start meeting people, and then they start seeing you and they'll tell you, hey, I didn't see you last week. Where were you?
Or even CrossFit's a great community. Like, if you're looking for a community,
it's pricey, so
it is pricey.
But you could Groupon.
Yeah.
You could try a free class.
Yeah.
You could start going to open gyms every.
Right.
Try
There's
different things.
and that's one thing I love about Miami too. Like the fitness is now part of the culture here.
Yes.
So if you go on Eventbrite, like, or if you
Oh,
go on the
for
new Trop,
sure.
there's always like some sort of free fitness event happening weekly.
Yes.
So you can. There's no really no excuse in this city
Yep.
not to be participating in some sort of.
And if you
movement.
want to meet community, Julia, tell them about the event. And not only that, but first and foremost, what's great advice for people to get started? Like, what was something that motivated you to get started? Or to,
Yeah.
well, you've been started for
She's like been in this game.
Yeah, she been in the game.
I think anything that you're interested in, first you want to educate yourself. What is it that you want to do? If you don't know what that is, have an idea. You know, like, I want to dance. Okay, Zumba.
Yeah.
CrossFit, I love it. Awesome. But that's a very, like, intermediate, advanced type of sport, right? Because it asks for a lot of reps and, you know, weights. And for someone who's new, you definitely want to educate yourself about the gym.
Yeah.
What's the equipment?
Right.
Is it going to be yoga? I always tell people probably start with your body weight
Yeah.
and then advance to yoga, because if you can't lift your own body weight, what are you doing lifting weights,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're going to injure yourself, not because it just takes proper form.
Yeah.
The next thing is to hire a trainer. There's professionals out there who actually do this for a living and they're passionate about it. Connect with someone like you mentioned. It's the Miami fitness community is growing so big, and that there's so many people.
There's
out
Fit
there that-
Miami Fest coming.
Yeah, there's so many
Hey.
people, and you know, for the event, we handpicked all the talent that's participating. The talent are fitness instructors, yoga instructors, meditation gurus, beauty experts, beauty influencers, beauty brands, nutritionists, chefs, celebrity chefs, and so there's help out there, and that's what inspired the event, is to put all the
Like-minded
experts,
people, yeah, and experts.
from experts, instructors, like-minded people all different levels under one roof for one weekend.
Yeah. I also wanted to go around and ask you, like, off the top of your head, but some of your favorite, like, workout events or workout things that happen. I can name a couple just off, like, that I love to go to. A free one is Women Run Winwood, who
Mhm.
actually Grisel was on the show last year. Love her event. It happens every third Sunday of the month. Right now they're doing it out of Vesa Sur, and it's a 5K. And I kid you not, it's super empowering. They usually have like a female speaker. It's for women. They just hosted their first co-ed one like 2
Yeah.
Sundays ago. But it's like they do like a speech, like a super motivational speech. Then you get together with other girls. You start the run. There's different paces.
Right.
You do not have to be a runner to go. You do not have to be fit. You could walk, crawl, twerk all the way 3 miles, whatever you need to do to get yourself through.
Right.
And I love Women Run Winwood. The other one was Beat the Gym, which Tony again is gonna be
Oh, yeah.
at your event. I found out about it through a friend. I don't, his rates have changed, I'm sure, but I remember when I first went, it was like under $10 to take a class. You meet up at a park, you do it, you know, sign up through the app, and you're able to, you know, you just go, like, so, and you meet random people and you have a really great time.
Yeah.
What else? Again, going to these gyms, like I said, a lot of gyms have like open gyms
Right.
that you can go to. Most gyms have like free weekly passes, like even like random like boxing gyms or whatever, they have one free class that you could try. So there's always, even if funds are the thing, you know,
Yeah.
you can just get
I
started.
love running events right now. That's my
Yeah,
jam,
that's your
obviously.
shit.
So like, I mean, because there's so many of them. They're
Yeah.
free, and it's.
How do you find out about them, Chris? I found out of these through Instagram.
I don't remember. I feel like I met a friend when I was going to CrossFit, and she was running, and I was like, oh, I jog, I
Yeah.
would say, and then somehow we'd heard about it. And I was thinking, oh, it's a little run club, and it'll be like 30 people, and they'll run around Brickell. And then I go, and it's like 500 people.
What is it called?
Brickell Run Club.
Oh, Brickell Run
Yeah.
Club.
So,
okay.
and then they have one on South Beach, the South Beach Run Club, and it's like 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and
And
Thursdays.
Okay,
And
7
it's-
p.m.
yeah.
Tuesdays and
And you just
Thursdays.
show up, and again, there's different levels. You don't have to run the whole thing, but it's just a good way to like exchange energy, because I feel like there's something about working out with people, and that's one thing I loved about CrossFit, like specifically the box I last went to, is that the energy there was so positive, and you get to dip in that energy when you work out.
Yeah.
And then kind of back to your point, I just wanted to, I
Yes,
forgot to say
please.
something that I thought was so
No.
important for me, because like the name Habit, you know, it first came to me when I wanted to create something that, and it just kind of came to me in the car one day, and I was like, I want to make something that's for working out, but if you're not working out, you can still wear it. Like, I don't want it to say like hardcore gym face or something like crazy intense, you know? Like, I felt like all gym brands at that point were just like super gym oriented. And it's funny, as luck would have it, like as I've evolved, it's kind of like I feel like universal alignment, because now I'm somebody I studied habits so much and like been able to change my habits. And I think one of the biggest like keys for unlocking new habits is like two things. You know, one is a willingness to dive deep into it. Like I've said this before, and it's extreme and people don't want to hear it, but if you want to like break into a new habit, you have to be obsessed with it at the beginning. Like, you have to make this, like, you have to have laser like focus.
That's a fact.
You have to say, yo, I'm going to this gym.
Or I'm starting this new project,
or like
or
anything.
I'm starting this business, or I'm putting this event together.
And you have to also, number two is recommit almost daily. Like, it's like love. Like, you can't just say, I'm married, we're together, and I don't have to. You have to mentally go to yourself, why am I doing this? And then with the recommitting, this is why I think it's so important to have a greater why. So I've told this to my friends, because they're like, yo, I want to get in shape, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, what's your greater why? She's like, I want a hot body. I'm like, no, babe, you need, because when you're sore, when you're sore and it's like raining outside and you don't want to go to the track, you're gonna need a greater purpose to motivate you. Your hot body, the girl on Instagram that you want to look like, trust me, I've tried all those things. Like, back in the day, I used to put up magazine pictures on the fridge.
Girl, I used to put pictures on the backgrounds of my phone.
You know? And you need a greater purpose. Like, my greater purpose for wellness is to like heal ancestral trauma.
I was just gonna say, like, my why as well is, one, for my mental sanity.
Yes.
And two, for my physical sanity.
Yeah.
Because I think of the girl who was unhealthy.
Yeah.
And who was asking God to please cure her.
Yeah.
And I had this situation, and I literally to myself, like, if I don't go to the gym, if I don't exercise, I will get sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I'll get depressed, I'll get sad. I literally feel, and I have this energy that I need to expend, and what better way to do it? And like I was telling you earlier, it's meditative for me, because my mind is racing all the time. I'm always on go.
Yeah.
I'm a really bad overthinker. Like,
yeah, I think it's a nature of our time frame, because there's a lot of input of information
there's
happening.
sensory,
on all
like
ends.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, it's like even when I do sprints, when I was sprinting a lot, I would dedicate each sprint to a woman in my family, you know, and give that momentum, that energy, and give it to her.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't out here she's never done this before. She's never been an athlete.
Yeah.
So that greater why, it gave me the sense of like, I have to do this. This is my duty to do this. This is not something I'm just casually wanting to do because I want a six pack. Like, I have to do it. To me, it's
the way I show myself love, like in a physical form.
Oh, of course.
You know, I'm like, let me give this back to myself.
This is a relationship.
And it's a relationship, and nobody could do this for me. Nobody's gonna get me through that wall. Nobody's gonna get me through the 5K. And I remember the last 5K we did it together. That we saw each other there by chance, because I didn't even know you were going. I remember halfway, I was like, I remember when we started, I had this moment, I call them my this is life moments, where I feel so like grateful and overwhelmed with gratitude. So I just say like, this is life. And I remember praying, and I was like, you know, God, like, thank you, God. Thank you so much for letting me be alive to be here. Thank you for giving me an able body to do so. Thank you for giving me the eyes to see all these people run. Thank you, God, for all these women. Thank you for these men. Thank you for allowing us to wake up. Like, and I went on this gratitude, like spiral, and I was so filled with joy. And I remember halfway through, thank you, the 5K, I'm like, I wish this could last longer. And I was so tired.
Wow.
But I was like, and then by the time I finished, I was like, damn, this was enough.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know?
Yeah.
So, Julia, do you have any free events or events that you participated in the community, aside from your own event that's coming up, that you would recommend, or trainers, or any classes, any studios, anything that you want to shout out?
Right, absolutely. I think everyone participating, I would definitely recommend. And when I say hand select, I mean people that are involved in Fit Miami are the people you need to reach out to and say, hey, I need help. I'm trying to get into this, or I want to learn more about this. And can you guide me? Can you give me some tips? Can I take your classes? They're so collaborative, and they're so just happy to help. They're such great people. And so I think that we need to have some type of a way for attendees to connect with the instructors, or the talent we call them, so that they can have a one-on-one, way to just go to them and ask them for help.
And these are people in your community, guys. Like, if you're out there listening, these are people that you could actually support. They're small businesses. They're small. You're putting you're putting your money back in the pockets of these people.
Yes, exactly.
And Crystal, that brings me to you, because one thing I wanted to say was, we were talking about not taking physical appearance and all these things in a negative way. But let me tell you something. When I'm feeling my fate at the gym, girl, I could do anything. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, I need new CrossFit shoes, because mine I've been wearing them out. But when I wear Habit Active, when I'm wearing a full fit, when I feel like I could squat and my panties are not gonna show through my leggings, girl, that it motivates me, and it makes me feel great when I feel good in what I'm looking in. And I feel like Habit does that for me. And in general, to me, what you do in terms of designing, how thoughtful you are. Even the other day when we were running, I was wearing one of your jackets. The freaking pocket had a zipper, and I was able to run, and my phone is there bouncing around, and I'm like, oh, thank you. This is so mindful of you to do, because you work out and you know what we need.
And I'll be running. I'll be that's another thing I love about what I do, because I'll be in the middle of a workout and I'm like, ha, this would be amazing.
Yes.
And I'll have inspiration for things, and like cool functional things to add into the clothes. So I love that component, and I really believe making clothes is like making food. The intention you put into it when you make it, the person, you're transmuting the energy.
Yes.
So it's
I feel so sexy. I feel so
empowered, and just motivated to be to push yourself outside of what you normally know, to really see your full potential. That's what I hope.
And then you're also a local designer. I'm putting my money back into your pockets to fuel your dream, that fuels and it's just the cycle.
And I purposefully work with local manufacturers. A lot of people have told me, you could do it cheaper if you went overseas, right? And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the play.
I was just telling Julia how when we first met, you were employing these little mommies from Hialeah, these seamstresses.
Yeah, I still am. I still work in Miami Shores now. I'm moving around, but I only work with kind of women-owned local manufacturers. And
you give back to the community. I saw the picture of those little girls that you fit in your leggings.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do some more things with Lotus House. So giving back, to me, giving is the first part of receiving. So if you want anything from anyone, from the universe, you have to give first. Yeah. So it's a no-brainer. I don't even do it to be I'm just how can I give?
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer for me. So that's one thing I think I can leverage myself as a small brand, because a lot of people think being small is bad, but I think there's so many benefits to being small, because I can really speak and show the community how much I care about it.
So for people that want to buy your apparel, for people that want to stay in touch with you,
right.
You're also doing this new project where you let people in your entrepreneurship journey,
right.
And you want them to learn. I love the newsletters that you send out. Give us all the deets on how people can support you and stay in touch.
So if you follow my personal page, Crystal_Active, ACTIV, you'll be able to see my weekly video logs where I talk about the struggles I'm going through, what I'm learning, what didn't work, what worked. And I also do a newsletter, and you can DM me your email address there, and I can add you to it. And in that newsletter, I share kind of mindfulness tips, ideas I'm thinking about, interesting
the books you're reading, and motivate you.
Interesting articles, and then as for my brand is Habit Active, HABITACTIV, and that's at Habit Active. And you can follow me there. I'll be launching the web shop soon. And I'm you're about to see me host a bunch of free events.
Yes.
So I'm sure I'll be posting it on my Instagram feed and in my newsletter, because really giving back to the community and getting more involved in that conversation of wellness should be for everybody, not just for a certain type of person. So I think that's really something that I'm passionate about. and figuring how to equalize that field and access to that. So
Yes.
yeah.
And then Julia, tell us about Fit Miami Fest. I wanted to ask first, what is the beginning price of tickets? Like, how much do tickets cost if you just want to show up and pop up? Like, what's the cheapest
Yeah.
one? At least?
There's actually only 2 ticket options.
Okay.
There's a single day that's $29, and then the weekend pass, which is $45.
Okay.
I suggest $45 because there's different talent every day for all 4 activations.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's the talent that's on Saturday and Sunday, they'll be teaching different workshops, and that's mostly in the beauty bar.
Okay.
But some highlights are Chef Ellen Campbell, who's Tom Brady's personal chef.
Mm-hmm.
You do have Tony Thomas, Patrick Frost, Nike Master Trainer. You have Rise and Soulshine. They're actually going to be one of my favorites. And I shouldn't say that because they're all my favorite, but I just love what they do for the community. They have a yoga class once a month, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by donation, and they donate that money to a cause.
Awesome.
And they get like 100 to 200 people
wow.
at a time, and the energy, and it's done at the Perez Art Museum, and I believe different venues. So if you follow them, I mean, it's a great thing that they do. Julianne and Jesse are beautiful people, and yeah, I mean,
And Fit Miami Fest is coming to Mana Wynwood.
yes,
Not this coming weekend, the following,
correct.
the
January,
25th
yeah,
and 26th.
correct.
How can people stay in touch with the brands if they want to buy tickets, if they want to stay in touch with you? Please give us all of that info.
Yeah, so you could follow us at Fit Miami Fest on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and our website, fitmiamifest.com. And for ticket discounts and promo codes, you could follow some of the talent participating. When you go to our website, you'll be able to find out who's participating.
We're actually
And-
doing a giveaway.
Ooh,
Remember
tell
that?
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Julia graciously donated 2 tickets for Meet Them Mondays listeners. So what I told you guys is if you want to tag your human or who you want to go with on the last Instagram post, which is the flyer of the show, you might be selected to go. And all you have to do is tag who you want to go with, and Julia will let you in.
Absolutely, and we do have some really cool raffles on Saturday and Sunday. So I know LA Fitness is giving some free month or 3-month free membership.
Oh, what?
We have
Okay.
Legacy Fit.
Oh, yeah,
monthly.
Legacy Fit.
Yeah, memberships given away, and then what else? Some other cool stuff that
So
you're
just
not
if they
knowing
follow
about.
the Instagram, they'll be able to check all of that
A
out
lot
on
of
the
cool
website.
prizes, yeah, a lot
Awesome.
of cool things happening.
Thank you both so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Julia. I hope that you all got some motivation out of this, and the takeaway is just get started and find someone awesome to do it with if you don't want to do it alone. But remember, self-love. So you gotta do for you what nobody else will do for you.
And a
Yeah.
quick shout out to Jenny Lee.
Yes,
I
for
wish her
connecting
luck.
us.
Yeah, for connecting us, and also wishing her luck in her journey to start. She's starting a triathlon training.
Yes.
That's huge.
Jenny Lee is like I call her my madrina, and she connected us. Funny enough, I was already gonna reach out to Julia and like how energy would have it.
Synergy.
Right.
Yes, it
Amazing.
just happened.
Beautiful.
But thank you all so much for tuning in. Our next show will be on Monday, January 27th. Follow us on social media at Meet Them Mondays. I'm your host, Christian Portilla, on IG at Room for Your Rights. And if you like what you hear, then share an episode with your friend. Support Meet Them Mondays on Patreon, or for sponsorships, hit me up. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and visit roomforyourrights.com for more. Peace. The Facebook Live is still going. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Meet Them Mondays. Thank you for being with us in the studio. This video will also go up on YouTube. Make sure you follow Crystal. Make sure you follow Julia. Buy tickets to the event. Buy apparel from Crystal.
Yes.
Listen to more Meet Them Mondays. And thank you so much for supporting us in the new year. See you later. Thank you both so much.